Welcome back to Oshkosh Today. Thanks so much for joining us. Now we are joined by our final guest, Larry Spanbauer, here to tell us all about the 13th annual Oshkosh Antique and Appraisal Show. So, Larry, first off, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me back.
And for bringing all these awesome props in today, some examples of what's to come at this cool show. So first off, if you want to just tell us a little bit about the show itself.
Well, this is our 13th show. We started in 2003 with the sesquicentennial celebration, and it was an overwhelming success. It was a spin-off of the Oshkosh the Antique Roadshow.
Okay.
And so we've deemed it as the Oshkosh Antique Appraisal Show, and we do appraisals for things from Oshkosh and also things from Winnebago County. And we'll have approximately 30 tables of things related to Oshkosh history. But the theme this year is Oshkosh sports, and we're having Dick Naslund and along with Richard Hendrickson, Hondo Hendrickson, who have very nice collections of past Oshkosh sports history, going back to the Oshkosh All-Stars in the 40s, the Oshkosh Giants and the baseball team in the 40s and the 50s, and uniforms and things I haven't seen. So it's going to be a fun day for me too, to see what they bring in to share with the community.
Very cool. And what's so unique about this show is that it's all Oshkosh specific things, or Winnebago County too, you said. So it's really neat to see how the local history has lasted throughout the years, and having all these cool things to look at, to take a look back into the years.
And the sports theme has been something we've wanted to do over the past couple of years, because sports have been such an integral part of Oshkosh history. Going back to the turn of the century, baseball, the lumber companies had their own baseball teams. Payne Lumber had their own team. They even put out a booklet on the players and what was going on. And then during the 30s, it started building, and with the Oshkosh Cabs Club 8500. That was their phone number, 8500, so that was the name of their baseball team.
Oh my gosh.
And they became a very powerful team in the state of Wisconsin. And then it was followed by the Oshkosh Central State League team, Oshkosh Equipment Operators. So there was really a challenge to get on one of these teams. So you just didn't say, I want to play with your team. You had tryouts, and when they held tryouts, 1,500 people from Oshkosh would come and watch the tryouts.
Wow.
So people became...
It was no joke around here in Oshkosh.
It wasn't no joke.
They took their baseball seriously, huh?
The mayor would come if Oshkosh was playing in Berlin. Berlin mayor would come and throw out the first pitch, and maybe the Oshkosh mayor would be the catcher of it.
Oh my gosh.
So they all got involved, and they had bands, and they'd march from Main Street down to the main diamonds were on Hazel and Irving Streets. And
you even told me they had some special beverages at these games, and
they would have certain beverages. There was always a keg of beer that could be used, and they even used cheerleaders from the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, which was Oshkosh State University, would go through the crowd and try to collect money to pay for bats and balls that the teams would use.
Oh, it's just so cool to hear stories like that about how it was. And we have some pretty cool little knickknacks not knickknacks, I should say, some cool antiques that you brought in, a couple of trophies, it looks like, from baseball, and even the milk bottles related to sports too.
Right, sports was a big thing. Mr. Iwake from the Guernsey Dairy Company was very influential in sports, and during the 40s, early 40s, came out with this type of bottle, but on the back of it, this one happens to say Oshkosh Braves and All-Stars build up on milk. There's also a bottle like this with a swimmer, a diver, a football player kicking a field goal, a high jumper. So it was promoted through the dairy industry also.
Very cool.
As the show, as I said earlier, it's going to be interesting to see the things that Mr. Hendrickson and Mr. Naslund bring in. But one of the early teams in 1940 was Central State League, and my dad played on that, and this was his trophy, and he was the batting champion for the state.
Neat.
And
so all kinds of things like this will be at the show, but it's not limited to sports. We've got a couple minutes left, so I want to make sure that we do talk about some of the other things. Like we've got a really cool cigar box here too.
Right, we have cigar boxes, and that's also a sports item. It's called Fine Sport. It was made by Doman, B.A. Doman. who was at the South Park Tavern. And but
So-
we will have Jim Stutz will have a milk bottle display, dairy items. There'll be a whole display of cigar boxes that I've started put together and just did a book on them, and that'll be available there.
And it's not only a show to go look at. You can also bring things in to get appraised.
You can bring things in, have them appraised. We do our best. We have a lot of expertise from collecting over the years, and we can usually put a pretty decent, price on them as a guesstimate. We buy things if you want to sell them, if you want to hang on to them. That's fine too. A lot of things belong to the family. A lot of things that we have on display, it's happened to me just about every year, that I'll have something on display and someone will come in and say, oh, that was part of my family.
Oh, my
and you give it back to
goodness.
them, give it back to
Very
the family.
cool.
So that works out, really swell.
Another thing that's neat about having a local show like that, we got a few seconds left, so I want to make sure that we are getting those last details in. Is admission is free, so it's open to anyone. You can come look around. You can come bring some things in if you'd like. And then also, lastly, where is it held?
It's at the Senior Center North Building
Okay.
on Saturday, March 21st from 9 until 2. And we hope to see you there. It'll be a fun show. It's going to be, like say, we've done them before and people have come and they've spent 3-4 hours, but this year with it being a sports theme is really going to be special.
Wonderful. Well, we're really looking forward to it. And Larry, thank you again so much for joining us today.
Thank you.